Good morning. Okay, welcome back to the channel and welcome back once again to Euston Wall. Today I'm going to take it a bit easier. There's a new slab set at the wall, so that's what I'm going to try out today, because I don't know if you can see this, but my skin on my fingers is pretty bad. You can see the red tips. It's just worn through all the way on both sets of fingers, so pretty painful, pretty sore. So that's why I'm moving to some slabs instead. Take the weight off my hands a bit more. Still obviously climbing, but just have a bit more of an easier session on the fingers. I might tape my fingers as well, just to, you know, help their recovery. But yeah, plan today, just go on some slabs. The new set, should be some cool sets on that one. Looking forward to getting stuck in. Okay, so I just spent probably about half an hour taping up my fingers. Probably put the tape on a little bit too tight as well, but it should protect my skin, which is the main concern anyway. Just going to warm up on some of the easy climbs on the slabs, and then move on to the harder ones, and we'll just see what happens today. Okay, I'm just going to jump into this blue V4 now, which I've just had a discussion with one of the staff here, Reese, great bloke, about whether it's going to get downgraded to a V3. So, whilst it's a V4, we might as well send it as a V4. Very generous foothold to begin with, and the foot chip on the volume up here. This is very, very small. You can't get your fingers actually really all the way to the bottom of this. It's very blocked. And then there's a hole on the side here. Little chip on the wall there, and then it's another blocked crimp up there before the finish. So that's where it ends. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I don't know, I probably did that slightly wrong, but probably felt like a V4 for me, at least. What were you saying? Okay, going to jump into the white V4 on the same spot. So it's got some pretty generous footholds, just here and here. Starts with two hands on the volume, most likely from all the chalk up in this area. And then there is another foothold here, a side pulley handhold there, and then the finish is blocked at the top as well. So yeah, not loads of holes on this route. It's going to be more balancey, more through the feet. Should be relatively technical, and I'll see how it goes. Blimey, I don't think it is like that. It's going to be more around here. Okay, more tricky than it looks. I'm trying to figure out where my body needs to be positioned to do this. It's quite awkward. Not like that. Wow. That is a really awkward start. Oh, stood up too high. Okay, I think I need to release my right hand after I set on the wall here. That's what I've decided, because what was happening is as I was pulling up more and more and more, I'm then not pulling in the right direction perpendicular to the hold, and my hands just slipping. So I think I need to take one hand off to allow my body to come up, but also keep my hand pulling in the right direction. So I'll try that again now. Oh, that is so bunched and awkward for me. Just got a cramp in my groin. That's just nasty. I might have to do that slightly differently. I'm probably going to give that a brush, which I think will make a big difference in terms of friction on the hands, which will then make it harder to slip off. But regardless, I think I'm doing something wrong. That's going to allow me to kind of fight through it with the wrong technique. But I'm also doing something wrong with my body positioning, so I'm going to watch the footage back as well and give that volume a brush. So just from watching the footage back, I always think, rather than getting my right foot up kind of inside, I actually think I need to push hard on just the left foot with my body as close to the wall as I can here, and then come up with the right to here, facing more square. I think that's what I need to do differently, because otherwise I'm just slipping off this hold because I'm pushing my body out too much. So I'm going to try that this time and see how it goes. But from watching the footage, that's my first thought. Yeah, so as I thought, basically my body was too far this way with my weight, and coming into this position with my knee just compressed my body in my space. I couldn't really get my knee in there, and it was the wrong way to do it. I think what also helped was I ended up using this once I released my right hand from this. That helped me balance a little bit more. But yeah, coming up with the foot more square made all the difference, rather than coming in with like a kind of drop knee. So yeah, made a meal of that one. Okay, going to move on to what looks like quite a technical V4 now. It's this red one here. Start hold here, and there's a foot chip on the volume. And it's quite a big move. It looks like it's going to be quite dynamic up to this hold. There's more volume for your feet, and then there's a few more foot chips and a little undercling just here. And then there's another side pulley undercling just before the last hold at the top. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite technical. Yeah, I'll probably talk through myself reading this one first, because I think there's a few subtle things that are going to help me on this one, and then yeah, go into climbing it from there. Okay, so the start is going to be the most technical part of the climb really. Starting with hand and hand, and then it's a choice of what foot I put on this hold. Part of me is thinking that I go with my right foot on, but it's probably going to be a bit awkward. The only reason I'm thinking right is because that means I can put my left on, and it will likely mean that when I go for that big movement it would be a bit easier. But looking at the body position I'm going to be in if I do that, I don't think that's right. So I think it's going to be left foot on, and then once I'm set I can take my right hand off and put my right foot on this hold. And then it's going to be somewhat dynamic, either stepping left onto this before right onto here, or almost jumping into this volume and catching the hold at the same time. So that's how I'm going to do that section. And then once I'm there, I can walk my foot up, come into the undercling, stand up and probably flag the left foot quite high. And then I think I'm going to go over with the left hand onto this one, left hand over and pull up just to balance myself. I can then get my left foot up and right foot, and then change hands on that hold to the right, stand up to the top hold and match. So that's the plan. And I should have put a tick mark on that hold because I had absolutely no idea where it was. Yeah, I'm going to just put some chalk on that hold so I can see what I'm aiming for because I had no idea where I was going. Should have looked at that first. Okay, so I think I'm going to go for the dynamic jump. I'm going to have right foot on, left hand on. I'm just going to swing, maybe with a bit of a dynamic move, kind of swinging into the wall to land onto this hold and try and catch on that. I think is going to be the plan. Oh my god. Nearly. I think we'll get that in a couple more goes. Alternatively, I just noticed this volume's got quite a good edge on it. So it might be that I actually release the left hand, keep left foot on, come over with the left, and then go with the foot to there, and then get the hand up. I think that might be somewhat easier, but I might try it both ways. Once I get one of the methods, I'll try it both ways. So I'm sure it can be done in both ways. But that might be a more static and controlled way of doing it, which is probably going to be more accurate a higher percentage of the time. Yeah, it's quite a big jump, so I actually don't think that's the way it's set. I think it's doable that way, but it's putting quite a big strain through my shoulder, which is not the wisest with my shoulder injury, but I'll probably try it the static way next. I think that's probably the way it's actually set, realistically. Wow. Doesn't feel right either. Okay, watching the footage back again of both the styles, the second method I tried more statically and my body position just looked terrible. I don't really know why, but it just didn't look right. And I looked a lot closer on doing it dynamically, so I don't know if that's how it's set. It probably isn't, because it does feel a bit too challenging for a V4 to be like that, but that is the method that I'm going to go with to try and climb this. I think I'll get it in a couple tries at least, and then once I get that hold, I'm pretty confident it should be quite straightforward for me to get up to the top from there, so we'll see if we can get it this time. Yeah, dynamic was away from me. Maybe that is the way it's set, I don't know. But it's very blind. Like I said, I had to put a tick mark. I had no idea where the hole was. And it's quite high up, so when you land, it's quite an awkward position to catch in. So, but yeah, today clearly struggling on these V4s. And I think it's all because of the way I'm reading them. I think I'm doing it wrong, so let me know in the comments how you think these should be done, because the way I've ended up climbing them is the way I think that they should be done, but equally I'm not convinced that that's how it's set. So yeah, be interested to know what you guys think. Okay, that's been enough messing around falling off V4s. Let's do something proper. I'm going to try this V8 Wasp. So one little tiny start hold up here. It's quite a long route, this one. couple small holds in here as well, and then mainly just small foot chips all the way along. So it's going to be very much technical and good footwork is required because there's no hands for the whole of this section. There's no hands in this area. So it's just these feet at the bottom. It's going to test my feet and my balance. There's a foothold up here, as well as a hand hold, and then yeah, there's a little crimp before the last, which is a tiny little hold to match up there. So yeah, on this one, footwork is going to be really key. We'll see if we can execute it. Okay, so how I'm reading this, right foot on first, and then kind of palming down on this with 2 hands. I'll end up kicking the left onto the wall, using hands in here to kind of hold myself into position, and then lean a bit to the side. I have to change feet on this, because otherwise that's going to be quite a long walk through. So I'm going to change feet on this. Yeah, really pull as much as I can on these holds to take the weight off my feet, to change on that. Right foot across, lean into it, and I'm probably going to cross the left foot through to then go right foot on, grab onto this in a bit of a Gaston, and then left foot up, stand up into the other Gaston, foot back on that hold, possibly on the volume if needed. But yeah, trust the foot a lot, stand up, and then once I get one hand on, I should be able to match as well, but it should be pretty technical. Ow. That is very painful to stand on. And the other thing I didn't even think about or even notice, they're a lot lower than what I would have liked. I'm going to have to get lower in my body position to hold onto them properly. I was far too upright holding them here. As we know, 2 hands here brings your weight out. 1 hand would be okay, but 2 hands in front, yeah, brings my center of gravity too far out. So I'm going to have to readjust, maybe put a side foot on into here, get my body a bit lower so that I can then hold those more effectively, but I'm going to rest up first. I'm going to take my shoes off for a bit as well because those footholds are quite painful. That just feels wrong. And part of me is thinking I'm actually facing the wrong way. I think this might be a route where you're supposed to start back to the wall. That way I can have my left foot on, touch here, and then I can push off with my right foot to swing into this position and then stabilise on this. That's what I'm starting to think, but just see what that feels like. Just matching that start hold, it's now hard. Okay, I'm just going to see if I can stand up straight on this foothold, because if I can, holding onto these 2, then I should just be able to dead point off the wall onto this, hold this straight and then change feet and then go from there. Oh, can, but it's very painful. It's tough to read this, really tough to read. I might try the end section, see how that feels now. Just kind of swing into position. tough. Maybe it is somewhat dynamic to there. But I thought with where the volume was, I might be able to get a lot closer into the wall than I actually am. I feel like I'm quite a long way out, but this V intro route as well kind of pushes you out a bit, and this hole too, so it's quite tricky to stay as close as you'd like. But yeah, I'll have a few more attempts on the end of the route and then see if we can put more of it together from doing that. Oh my god, I just hit that. I'm not sure how I really had the audacity to try a V8 today when I fell off 2 of the 3 V4s, I think I did. But yeah, I mean, you never know, it could have been more my style, but yeah, I'm gonna have to come back with someone better than me to try and figure that one out and talk it through with them, because on my own I'm really struggling on that. So I'm gonna move on instead to this blue on the Slab V5. Foothold at the bottom, and then quite a small crimp in here, and then this on the volume, which is just a bit of a thumb press, I think, more than anything else. There's a foothold there, another small crimp up here, which doubles as a foothold later on. There's a crimp there, and then the final hold is up here. So I think this one should be technical, but I'm pretty happy that I'll be able to get this one done today. So the way I'm seeing this one is start with obviously hands on the star holds, then left foot on, right foot on, and then I'm going to palm a long way into this volume, straight arm, come over with the right to catch that. I can then get my left foot up onto here, change hand, right foot onto this, stand up to the crimp, match that, and get my left foot up, body weight in, and then up to the Gaston at the end, quite statically as well. Really struggled with the flexibility to get my foot up there, surprisingly. But yeah, I think when I get my foot on that, I can balance and reposition, and then change hands, should be alright. Okay, because of cap's in and flexible, what I'm going to try and do here is kind of swing dynamically the foot up. I have to get it very precisely and accurately, but that's the only way I think I'm going to get my knee up that high to make space for my foot to get onto this volume. And once it's on there, I'm pretty confident I'll be able to stick it and do the rest of the climb. So see how we go on with that. Oh, just missed it. Getting that technique all wrong in there, but I actually did it a bit differently in the end. Came up with the left hand, also my foot was lower, and that made it much easier to balance, so I'll be doing that again next time. But yeah, I got my feet all wrong, body position all wrong the second half, so just watch the footage back and see what I did. I mean, I kind of dabbed on this a fair bit, so I don't think that really counts, but I feel like I'm messing up this part. I feel too straight on that, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't get the body position right to make it comfortable to go up with the left foot or with the right foot, so we're going to try this one again. Cool, did it properly that time. Okay, so I'm now here with Guy.
Hello, how you doing?
And yeah, basically he's just been climbing alongside me. We didn't know each other until today, but essentially I saw he's clearly very strong, and I was falling off this Wasp like an idiot because I had no idea what I was doing. As I mentioned at the end, after I stopped trying, essentially I wanted to climb with someone that's a lot better than me, and here he came. God heard my call. And yeah, so Guy basically really strong, so he's going to give this one a go, and yeah, we'll see how he gets on. But how long have you been climbing for, Guy?
I've been climbing for 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, no, so I've done a bit, but
it certainly shows as well. So hopefully we'll put on a show for you guys. We'll see. Cool, so going to end the video there. Thank you for watching. Quite a few things to reflect on from that, to be honest. So one being the V4s, quite humbling once again. Normally would be expecting myself to flash those, and I still do expect myself to flash those, but the tricky bit was reading them properly and then executing that. And I think partly as well, mentally it's funny, if there was no grade I'd have tried harder on them, but because it's a V4 I didn't try as hard. So particularly on the red V4 with the dynamic move, I didn't really try too hard on that, which sounds silly, and the reason why is because it's graded V4, which is just stupid. So for me going forwards, obviously I need to ignore whatever the grade is and make sure I try hard on every climb, because that will make a big difference. Other thing obviously with the V8, Guy, very strong climber. I'm not going to try that one today, but I'm going to come back another time. I've got the footage now obviously of Guy doing it, so you can tell obviously body position wise it was very, very different to me. It was much lower, very balanced as well, so I'll give that another go in a different session. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was good fun making that one today. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for your support. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. As always, really helps me out a lot. I do appreciate it. And as always, most importantly, make sure you grab life by the plums, and I will see you in the next one.